Shoulder work, that's where they do the grading of the rock, all the shoulder work has been,
Give it 1 second. So,
Our guys doing it.
yeah,
There's no guys. We don't even-
grading the rock, right?
you're good.
Above that bridge we looked at. Where we're gonna put a skim full of cement on the top.
What I saw,
32 by Sheridan, yes. That'll be
that I did not. That's,
next year.
Next year, not this year.
we're good.
Curious to see how that worked out.
Call the meeting to order. There's nobody on it. We don't even have to even make a motion. No. Call the meeting to order. Okay, we don't need nobody on the remote. Need a motion, so everybody read the minutes for the previous meeting. Need a motion to approve it.
Motion approved.
James? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Monday,
You gotta do roll call.
roll call.
Uh-huh.
You want a roll call? James?
Dave's
Dave?
here.
Tom? Here. Bill? Here. Steve? Here. Right now here. Motion approved. Okay, bills. Department 005. $229,533.98. Fund 006. $401,576.57. 007 fund. $451,835.04. Motor fuel 017. $482,408.14. Fund 917. $2,018,165.72. Fund 919. $87,185.99. Total $3,670,705.44. Need a motion to pay the bill. Steve? James? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments?
Don't think so.
Take her away.
Okay, we'll go to the letting award of section 24-00871-00BR timber pile repairs.
Okay. For the first bidder is Hughes Construction. They have all the appropriate paperwork, a bid bond, and a total price of $174,230 even. 174,230.00. And then we have Gillen Construction LLC. They have all the appropriate paperwork and a bid bond and a total price of $175,153 even. 175,153.00. And then we have Toby's Construction. They have all the appropriate paperwork, a bid bond, and a total price of $289,578 even. 289,578.00.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
Now we can move on to approval of utility boarding permits. First one is 25-35 on County Highway 6 in Deer Park. for Ameren. Is putting a new gas service in for a house. Recommend that for approval. Next one's 25-36, County Highway 29 in Eagle Township. ComEd. And they are replacing some poles alongside County Highway 29. Just south of Kingwood. Recommend that for approval. Next one's 25-37, County Highway 43 in Waltham Township for Ameren. Just putting a new in for a new house located on Highway 43. Recommend that for approval. Next one's 25-38, County Highway 13 in Dimick Township for Ameren. And it's putting a new service in for a house that's being built on County Highway 13. Recommend that for approval. Next one's 25-39 on County Highway 3 in Northville Township. So one where they're replacing just a couple poles along a right of way. Recommend that for approval. We have 25-40, County Highway 3 in Mission Township for Frontier. This is for them. They are, got plans here to move their lines around the new roundabout that's being built at County Highway 3 and US 52. Recommend that for approval.
Need a motion to approve the. Go ahead.
Where's the roundabout gonna be?
Sheridan Blacktop and County Highway 52.
Really?
It's the one up there where there's been a bunch of accidents at. Yeah.
And that's a state project?
State project, yep.
I need a motion to approve the utility permits. Dan? Dave,
Sure.
all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
We're moving on to budget review. First one is 05. I got everything kind of color coded. So everything that's 05 is blue. This section actually is green, bridge is yellow, and workforce tax is orange.
Excuse me, can you pass this?
So first thing let's look at is what available funds do we have to spend? So the sheets that are stapled together, first one's contracts payable. It shows what we still have to pay on highway. It just shows insurance that we have to pay still yet this year, which is around $350,000. Next stapled ones is what they call our financial condition. And it shows what funds we have available to spend. Right now, we have $2 million of funds that are unobligated to expend yet this year. It could be spent. But with that, there is some that's already spoken for different things. We have a road widener that we're purchasing that's will be delivered here next week. We have a backhoe that should be getting delivered here. We have 2 Bunnell builds. Then we have payroll remaining for the year. And then, of course, expenses for the rest of the year. So we have potentially spent about $1.8 million yet this year. The $2 million that we have currently unobligated for highway funds. So we do have some funds there. And of course, we still have future real estate tax coming in yet for the year too. So that's where we sit at right now. 05. So first thing is the levy. Discussions with the chairman. I raised the levy request 1.5% over last year's. So we're at $3,415,360. So
Where's that at, Doc?
it's on your big sheets.
Big sheet.
Bailey?
Yeah, very.
Very top line. So there's the personal property replacement tax. Stephanie gave me those numbers for this year. And it's at $67,945. Interest income. This year, we're looking at, we might hit $130,000 projected. Last year had 140, so roughly left it at 140 again this year. Permitted load fees. So far this year, we've collected $15,000, so the projecting for the rest of the year to be about 22. So left it at the 30 that we had last year. Someone's access permits. So far, we've collected almost $19,000 for putting new access in. So left it at 20 again for next year. Next one is restitution for highway. That's kind of up and down depending on what more cause damage is happening in our highways. But this year so far, we're at $7,800, so left it at 10. Next one's township engineering fees. That's off the fees that we collect for doing various road projects for the townships. Last year, we are at 325,000. So far, we've collected 101,000, which right now we'll collect a bunch here shortly because right now our chip seals and cape seals are done. So we'll have those, we'll go in there and we'll go up higher. Next year, we're looking at about 350,000 for that.
And that's the reason you've only used 31% of that fund?
That's only, yeah,
Proposal?
because we haven't collected yet from the township.
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So we have to wait for the work to be done before we collect from them, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, municipal services and fees. So far, we haven't done anything with that, but we just kind of always have that line in there in case we do have something. Even for other departments, that's for them. When they come here and buy fuel and other things from us. Miscellaneous income. This is income that doesn't fit in other things, and mostly it's when we are taking stuff up to Simcoe for recycling. And transfer from insurance. I use the number from. Just use the number because right now Stephanie gets me that number later on that she gets it started at last minute into the budget. So let's throw a number there. And cash balance is just using the cash balance to make it a balanced budget.
Say that again, please.
The cash balance is just the number to get it, so it's a balanced budget, so at the end of zero, so we will have a cash balance at the end of the year to expend, so. Because every year we don't spend 100% of a highway budget, we're always under. Because our winters have been very light, so that's
So
why.
far.
Yeah, so far, so we've always been under, so at that point, we have funds left over from this current budget, so you can use it for next year.
So the cash balance, we use that just as a plug to zero out.
Yes,
Can I ask one more question?
yeah,
Can that balance be carried over from year to year
yeah,
and accumulate?
it could accumulate, yeah, but right now we're just, it's not, trying not accumulate, make it grow.
We got to pay for a building, I hope.
So.
I'm sorry.
Professional services, looking at $110,000 for this year. Slight increase over last year at 90. 4,000 is transferred to IT for their services here at the highway department. 10,000 to transfer to the nursing home for sewer, water reimbursement. Transfer to capital improvement. That's another sheet that's stapled together.
What you purchased?
That has future equipment purchases on it. Got its current year where we're at for this year. This year, all the equipment we bought We spent 583,000. And we sold various pieces of equipment for 47,000. So actually in our balance, we still have $9,000 to expend out of our equipment line item. Next year, look at purchasing a tandem, a pickup, a loader,
Where you at?
sheet with the equipment future purchase.
Right there with the blue on the top corner.
No, it's not blue top corner,
Oh, that's separate sheet.
separate sheet.
I'm on the page now.
Okay. So for next year, we're looking at buying a tandem, pickup, a loader, plows, and auger boxes for 540,000. That replaces our last international tandem that we have. That'll replace a 2002 case loader that we have. Then for years going out, in 27, looking at replacing our excavator, it's 2004. Some new bat wings, new pickup, and a new Tahoe for 500,000 that year. 2028, replace a 2010 Kenworth, auger boxes, plows, pickups. 29, looking at replacing our oldest grader, which is a 1980. So at that point, it'll be approaching 50 years old. And that's a big price tag, and that's, I guess at that point, that's still 4 years out, so who knows what the price is gonna be, but you gotta put numbers somewhere.
How many
And
graders do
everything
you
can
have?
change there too.
We have
You never know.
4, right? 4. And the plow, auger box and pickup, 505,000. 2030, replacing our cat loader, which I don't remember the year of the cat loader.
2008, I believe.
Replace the next 2010 Kenworth. 2031, there's another Kenworth with a 1-ton of pickup, auger boxes, and another pickup. 2032,
The Kenworth said those are our plow trucks, right?
yes. 2032, another tandem, sign truck, plows, auger boxes. 2033, look at replacing the next grader, which is a 1987, we'll be replacing it at that point, so it'll be around 45 years old. A 3/4 ton of pickup. And then 2034, replacing another tandem, it's a 2014, so at that point it'd be 20 years old and replacing that tandem. Right now, basically keeping the equipment expense line item at about $500,000 a year.
Nice.
And of course, this is all tentative, unless we ever know what's going to go next time. But we got to put something out there, so it's kind of scheduled for planning for what equipment needs to be replaced.
2033, you get 50 grand for a pickup? With all 4 wheels or?
Got to throw a number somewhere at that point. Right now, we're getting the pickups. I think we got what? It's 37 this year. It's 37. So at that point, 50 is not, I remember that's not too out of line, possibly. 'Cause we don't get any bells and whistles on our pickups. It's pretty well stripped down. So that's our transfer to capital improvements, our funding for our next, how many years that was gone through. Next is transfer to health insurance. There's a number that Stephanie will fill in at some point. I used the number that she used last year in the current budget. Maintenance to burglar alarm services. That's what we, Seco here to cover our building. Right,
Maintenance contract.
it's more, we really don't have a maintenance contract. We just pay him for when he's gonna come work on the building. It's like right now, our box is out again up front, because it got hit by lightning.
The way I ask is, how many property has a maintenance contract with them?
Yeah. No, we don't have a maintenance contract. We just pay when he's got to show up and do work for us.
That's the things.
Travel expenses, that's expenses for hotels and different things when we ship people away for classes. Next is electricity for main office. Ray, we're on 05.
Sorry about that, last minute work situation.
No problem. I can catch you up after the meeting, what was discussed before.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Electricity main office, so far, we spent $9,700 so far in a year, looking at being about 14.5 or so for the year projected.
Yep.
I've kept it at 15.5, the same as last year. Next one's
Too
electricity.
brave.
Everyone seems to tell me to keep raising it. I haven't raised it yet because we're not seeing it yet. I'm still under my number yet. So at that point, I don't see the need to raise it up to a higher number when we're not there yet.
Sure, good. Sorry,
No problem.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
No problem. Like, I got asked that 2 years ago, am I gonna raise my number? And I went, no.
Oh, that's good,
So
that's a
stay-
good thing. There's no
Stay. Next one is for electricity for Leonore shed. We're looking at using $2,300 for the year, so I left it at 2,500. Next one is electricity for Serena. This year, for some reason, Serena went a little higher than what past years have been. I left it at 800. We had the year before, because this year we're looking at being 1,000, so $200 is very minor. Next one is electricity for streetlights. We're projecting like that to be at $3,200. Last year at 4,200, I dropped it down to 4,000. Next one is water and sewer for Leonore shed. Looking at it being at $300 projected again that this year, I got the budget at 360. Next one is gas for the main office. We did a very good job this year because for the reason we didn't spend hardly any on it. Projecting it being about 9,000. With the gas up last year at 14.4, I dropped it down to 13.5. Next is gas for Leonore. Projecting at about $3,200, left it at the 4,800 it was the year before. Next is gas for Serena. Looking at it right now is at 3,100 projected, left it at the 4,800 it was the year before. Next is telephone. Telephone, we got it projected about $9,100. I left it at the 12,000. This year it will bump up a little bit because we are getting our server for our telephone is getting replaced. And that's around $1,500. So that bill's either going to happen this year or is going to happen next year. Because we can't update any names in our phone system. So look on your phone, someone else is calling you, not the person that's calling you, as far as inside the office. Our server in there is too old, they can't update it anymore. Internet, looking at projecting about $5,700. I left it at the 53 it was. Next one is janitorial. Projecting it at 15,000. I raised it up to 14,750. Next one is rent equipment. Can't remember what this rent equipment was. This is the one I think where we actually rent equipment. Which we haven't rented in a while, so we just leave it at 4,000, just have some money there in case we have to go rent a specialized piece of equipment.
John, no, that rent equipment doesn't apply to like the weather thing, right? That's under contractual thing.
Yeah, that's not underneath that, that's under snow.
Okay.
And then education, last year we had budgeted at 10,000. We spent 7,000 so far this year. So I'm probably gonna spend this year, so I took it down to 7,000 for next year. Publications, so far we spent 3,200, looking at spending 4,800, probably be there, mail more. So I left it at the 6,000. That includes for paying for our advertisements in the papers for lettings and job postings and stuff like that. And then we have our dues and subscriptions. Right now, we spent $3,500, so I left it at 4,500. Where's that? And then miscellaneous expense, we haven't spent anything there, so I just left it at the $500. Then we get to office supplies and expense. So far, we spent 6,000, projected to spend 9,000, so I left it at the 12,000. Then we have the office equipment expense. Had it at 12,000, dropped it down to 10, because this year we've only spent 5 so far. And most, we spent about 7,600. And getting software purchases and licenses. Dropped it down this year, because last year we went through and did the CAD licenses for 3 years. So we don't have those expenses this year, so dropped it down to 18,000. And then we get into our payroll numbers, which the payroll for this group is just Mariah, Mary Ann, and a vacant position. So looking at being between those three, 140,000. And then overtime for those three, which they generally don't work overtime, so either at 500.
And that payroll in FY 24 is 170?
Yes. That's
As we reduce,
That's when the 2 ladies retired.
Yeah.
They were making very high wages.
yeah, longevity, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Maintenance, repair, engineering equipment. So far spent 6,000, probably spent 9,000 for the year, so we left it at 10,000. Supplies for engineering, we've spent 10,000 so far. Probably spent a little more, but not much more, and that's been 15 that it's projected. So probably let's leave it at the 14,000. And then we get into the next payroll, 476. Which down here kind of unique because we split our employees' payroll between multiple accounts. So some of our employees aren't split the same way, like this covers our engineering staff and on secretary's position. So some are at 60%, some's at 20%, some's at 50%. So looking at totaling up their wages for this year. The fun part, this contract's not negotiated, so I should say settled yet. So I'm using what they should be making this year, and I put a multiplier for it to go with to next year. Now my number for 293,000. And overtime, I bumped it up. For this year, we exceeded the overtime for 19,000. We're already at 25,000. But that's mostly because right now, all the guys we're doing are roadway jobs, all our resurfacing, so that overtime is being charged to that line item right now. And right now in the fall, we're gonna have mostly bridges, so their overtime's gonna go to the other line item, also their salaries gonna go that way.
Don, backing up a line, are we fully staffed for payroll?
For highway department, engineering staff, yes,
And were we fully staffed for this whole year?
yes,
So that is just strictly the wage increase is what you're assuming?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I was told by Melissa, I no longer have to carry additional funds for buyouts of people's departures. And she supposedly has a line item that the money's supposed to come out of that. Is that correct, Chairman?
Sorry, what was your question?
It was about when someone retires, all their time that they got on the books that the county has to pay them for, I no longer have to budget for. It's not coming out of our budget anymore. It's now coming out of a line item that Melissa's carrying.
Yeah.
Basically, what they might be able to carry over or paid out at the end of the year. So that was separated from the budgets, it's set off aside from that.
Our big one was when people retired after 30 years, and at that point, they'd have a slew of, number one, they'd be earning 30 vacation days a year, so they could possibly have 60 as they walk out the door. All their sick time,
So did you have that in last year's budget?
carrying some of it, yes.
So how much of that are we not carrying forward for this year's budget?
From year to year.
Yeah, but I'm not carrying anything, I'm
On
not projecting anything more in mine anymore to carry that.
Correct, but I'm saying if we had it last year, it would have inflated last year's numbers compared to this year's numbers.
If I was projecting someone to retire out of those positions, yes.
You weren't projecting anybody?
Not in the engineering staff at that point. He already retired out a year before.
Gotcha. All right.
It just started last year, but basically to segregate it from salaries and departments and that, so it couldn't be
Right. Gotcha. Good move.
Then we get into 077, which is our maintenance department. The first one's maintenance and repair equipment. It's 60,000 last year. So far, we spent 31,000. Probably spent around 47,000, but that's the one where it kind of cycles year to year. Maintenance repair of buildings. Last year we had budget 35, left at 35 for this year. So far, we spent 12,000 so far this year.
It's come down nicely over the years.
Yep. Then we get into our vehicle expense for diesel clear, which is for our trucks. So far, we've only used $61,000 of it. Projected out to be $92,000, so we're well under our $199,000. That's where we get some of our surplus and cash from this year because like winners, but still got to carry that money there in case we get what Mother Nature may bring us. Then we skip on from the backside. Got vehicle expense. Diesel died. This is for our off-road equipment. At 24,450 last year. Gonna leave the same number, and we only spent 9,000 so far this year, probably projecting somewhere around 13,000 for the year. Then we get the vehicle expense for gasoline. Had at 28.5 last year. So far, we spent 12.4. Probably spent about 18,000 for the year. Then we get the vehicle expense for DEF. Had budgeted for 2,500. So far, we spent 1,300. Oil and grease, 15,000. So far, we spent 6,200. Tires, 12,000. So far, we spent 6,200. And Brian can blow that budget real quick because he buys some for trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Not cheap.
No.
Vehicle expense for batteries, 2,500. So far, we spent 1,200 in batteries. And vehicle expense for filters at 10,000. So far, we spent 5,200. We've been right now trying to watch sales for different places like Deere or someplace that when they're having sales on filters, and we try grabbing some of that way. So we know we're going to need them anyway. So we're trying to buy them when they're the cheapest. Vehicle expense antifreeze, $52, which I can't believe we only spent $52 on antifreeze this year. I think Brian kind of miscoded something again.
Well, we haven't bought any, the 55-gallon drums is how we buy it, and we bought that off last year's budget, and we haven't gone through it yet, so. So I'm assuming by December 1st, we'll probably buy a couple more barrels of it, so it'll blow up by the December 1st.
So that's an expense on the back half of the year. Normally.
Yeah,
So we just haven't incurred.
yeah, not yet. But
We
it's,
will, but not yet. It's gone.
Pre-diluted or concentrate?
that's straight, we might start by the 55-gallon drum. Usually, and I don't want to pat anybody on the back, but CIT is usually the cheapest.
Whose is it?
CIT.
Then we get into our rent equipment, which right now we've only spent 10,000 of 29,000.
We're sticking with the 29, or do you feel like you can drop that?
That's planning staying with 29. Trying to think which one's all in that rental equipment.
Isn't that the one for the radios and all?
That's still with the radios, it's still with the welding stuff, parts washer. That's where we got the weather station in. Yeah. Right now, we haven't got the weather station bill, so that's $9,000 that'd be added to that right away, so. For the year. So that bump you up to 19 right away, so we're not that far underneath it.
We'll take every $5,000 you wanna give us back, that's for sure.
Surface, this year, we were very light on surface so far, but I think there's some bills that'll be showing up here next month, because there's bills we bought from Advance for doing our patches on 13 different things, so as the summer progresses, that number's gonna go up. Same thing with the shoulders. So things, generally, the numbers get more as it gets through to the whole summer. Ditches and drains, had 5,000 last year, we spent 6,000 so far. Bridges and culverts,
Excuse me,
what?
why didn't you raise it?
Because it's very minor overwhelming this year, so I'm going 5,000
Be able
number.
to transfer from another line if you need it?
Yeah,
All right,
Stephanie, as long as I'm 077, I'm not over on
as long as your
077.
bottom line's good, you can play.
Yeah, I can play, yes. So that's the reason why a lot of them, I'm close, I'm not bumping those up, and those I'm not taking down, because it's, every year, I'd chase my tail around every year, trying to move them up, down, down, it'd be just going up and down cycles,
I
so,
feel like at the very bottom where I'm seeing that we're at 70%,
yeah,
for the year.
that's,
We can move any of these numbers forwards, backwards, left, right, center, as long as we stay below 100.
yeah. And bridges and culverts, down at 50,000 right now, we're this year at 52,000. So like I said, it's a very minor tick up versus the tick down. That's when signs and markings. And spent 316,000 so far of the 400,000. Then we got guardrail. Guardrail kind of fluctuates, depends on motors cause damage from year to year. This year we spent 6,500. Most years we've always been underneath 5,000. So it's left at 5.
Just a question on that. So if there's an accident and it's, I mean, not a drive off, and there's damage to something like the culvert, do we go after the insurance company?
Yeah, that's one that line up top for the reimbursement. That's where it comes back into our incomes up top and then income side. So we have an expense down here, and then we have the income up top. Where we get reimbursed. And for us, as far as how we do it, we get our information together. We hand it off to Melissa, we hand it off to insurance claims, and they're the ones that will get the money from them and gets a check cut out, insurance trust to us. Then we get into snow removal. Snow removal right now is at 20,000 out of 225, but this month's bill had, I think, most of the salt.
We got a little left to pay for it, but not much.
Yeah, most of the salt was purchased this month, so at that point, that number's gonna go up drastically once we pay for all that salt. Next is mowing. Yeah, that was a line item that was created many years ago when they started trying to track how much the mowing was costing as far as repairs and everything like that. It was at 10,000 last year. I dropped it down to 5,000 this year, and so far Brian hasn't charged anything to mowing.
Because of the bees and the pollinators, we are mowing, but not as much as we used to. Just to keep all of that.
So it depends how it's seemed.
We'll do our full,
Yeah, we'll do our fall.
yeah, full cut. That's where we have a lot more repairs happening.
You're not bailing the ditches yet either.
No.
Oh. Township purchase of material, that's if we ever purchase material for a township. Other county departments, anything purchase for them, which you can see we haven't done anything this year. We get miscellaneous expenses, So far, we only had $300 miscellaneous expenses, just left it at $3,000. Supplies for maintenance. So far, I only got 2,000 for the year. Last year I had 25, I dropped it down to 20. Material repair for vehicles. So far, Brian has spent 61,000, the 60. It's left it at the 60 again for this year. Yeah. Material repair for buildings, 3,800. The 30,000 just left at the 30,000.
We have 3,800 for the year, we're leaving at 30,000.
Yeah, that's because there's some repairs Brian's supposed to do, whether he gets to them or not.
I have to replace the door, Leonor, the big roll of doors, different, talking 20 grand right there. We just haven't done it yet.
Will we do it in this year's budget yet?
We can. We can.
Well, I'm just wondering if we can take away from next year's budget if we're gonna do it this year.
I'd have to figure out what we got, there's probably, so the ones in Leonor we're gonna do, and then the ones in Serena probably need to be replaced as well. But if you're gonna build me a building in Leonor, I won't have to put the door, you know what I mean, it just kind of, right,
Back to that carryover money.
Right, yeah.
Well, at that point, probably replace Serena first, so that Serena will be the building gets replaced last. And then to see if we're at from there. But that's a big thing. If those doors fall apart, we need money there to replace those doors, and that's kind of where that's at.
Okay.
Can't operate it without a door.
Yeah,
Can't get in and out.
can't get it out.
Or the snow, or the ice.
Or drive is important, it's more.
You're right.
I'm just saying there's very few opportunities where you can reduce a little bit. I mean, we could have, we should have, but you're comfortable, it's fine.
Then we have health and life insurance. So far, we used 223,000 of the 389 last year. Projecting to be at 335, so I put it at 350 right now. I know once Melissa gets her numbers, she'll actually put her number in there. I'm just basing it off of what last year's numbers were at. Then for retirees, she's at 552. And right now we're at 367, projecting at about 550. I had that at 540, just to throw a number at it. And then we get into the payroll, which includes our mechanics and half of all our maintainers, foremen, and the supervisors' pay. So that's 970,000. And then the overtime for those same positions for 120,000.
Now, that's a major jump from past years. Have we added more people or?
No, because we switched payroll around last year. Switched it from being all MFT to being split between 05 and MFT. It's one, couple reasons why I did. Number one, so 05 took a little bit of funds there and spent the money out of there. So MFT funds could be used towards projects, but also the fact that when we go through and get an audit done by IDOT, they go through and scrutinize every labor hour that we have for maintainers and scrutinize whether it actually what they perceive as MFT eligible time. Well, now the time is split 50-50. We definitely doing 50% of the work on the road. So they got a tough time saying we're misusing MFT funds. So it's kind of savings. Yeah, because effectively if we do something for the nursing home, that they can't be paid out of MFT. So most times when we were doing work for the nursing home before that, we were sending the mechanics over to do the work there because they were paid out of 05. But every once in a while, someone else would show up over there and be doing work too, which technically isn't covered by MFT. So to end that argument with IDOT was my recourse last year, was to kind of split the funding. So at that point, we don't have to worry about that ever being an issue. And I have to possibly repay back out of 05 into MFT for misuse of funds.
Gotcha.
So overall budget last year was at 5.2 million. We're going to be at 4.6 million for this year.
Now, why the jump in overtime?
There's really no jump in overtime. Overtime was 120 last year and it's 120 this year. Right now, we've only spent 63,000, projected to be 95,000, but that's also the fact that those are all the maintainers That's how snow, so if we have a light winter, overtime's down. Have a bad winter, we'll probably spend that 120,000 and plus more.
Okay.
Any other questions about 05? That's one longer one.
We're at 70%.
Yeah,
Of budget.
that's when you look at front, I was talking before about what we still got left to expend for the year. We have 55,000 of a Widener backhoe for 56, two Bunnell bills for 150,000 apiece. About payroll, about 500,000, and then we still have other expenses still out of highway they're gonna pay, including salt and stuff like that we're paying this month. So that number will approach up there. It won't be 100%, but it'll probably be somewhere around the 90% mark for the year,
Good job.
which that's part of our cash balance we're using for next year. We're showing a cash balance use of about 529,000. Next one's 06. If you go to the contracts payable sheet, which is the horizontal sheet. Those are the projects that we still got to pay this year and amount of funds we still up this year yet. We have some projects that are very old that's still carrying funds. Like Highway 15 and 8 Fleming stretch, which is north of 80. We have Highway 15 that we just resurfaced this summer down at Kerner and Blacktop. We have the safety improvement job at 33 and 43. Let's turn one page to where the green is at. So the horizontal pages. Other green, one you're using is your. It's got one.
Color code's really nice.
The one green now.
We're on green now, yep.
Alright.
Oh, this one.
Okay, no, we're on this one. Okay,
It's green, same page.
Well, you did that,
Second
right,
page,
Dave?
right?
yep,
I thought I was on the wrong, right page.
you will be eventually, once I get to that point.
Thank you for the help.
So this is those past projects that were carrying of H Fleming Road, 36,000. Current project this year, 467,000. Safety improvement at 33 and 43 for 26,000. 951, our resurfacing we just did down there, 400,000, we'll carry next year. Highway 2, 386,000. Highway 4, 600,000. Highway 4, 200,000. Our pavement Cape Seal, position pavement marking. Our shoulders, they'll get paid out yet this year, so we don't have to worry about carrying them over next year. So those are the ones you carry over from next year. Most of those are all federal projects, and federal funds into them, so they're all let by IDOT. So we don't pay anything till IDOT sends us a bill. Nick Fleming Road was done in 2019. So
Wow.
we're carrying the funds for 6 years, so that's sitting in a treasurer's account and earn interest for us, so. That's what we want to understand why we have so much interest is because we're carrying money here for many years that IDOT's waiting to send us, we're waiting on IDOT to send us a bill.
State's got a lot of money, they don't need it.
So. Then you can go over to the other sheets, the financial condition sheet. Which that shows what we have on cash on hand. It shows out what we have as far as accounts payable and contract payable. And then it shows what our financial condition of that fund actually would be at this point in time. Right now is a negative 474,000. So if all the bills came due today, we would need $407,000 from a different fund to pay everything today. Of course, we still have our next round of real estate taxes to come in. which will make that so the financial condition will be back on the positive side. That includes paying for all the bills for this year for the projects. So someone says I have a huge cash balance in any of our funds. We do not. We're running pretty lean. I mean, 05, we have a little excess in it, and MFT we do, but the other two, the bridge and special tax match, we're running pretty lean. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff sitting in an account, but it's all been obligated. We go to our 06 budget sheet. We have, first line item is our tax levy. Again, I increased it 1.5% over last year. So we're looking at $1,667,520. Personal property replacement tax, Stephanie gave me that number for $23,611. Interest, so far we got 50,000 for the year, kind of being 100,000 projected for this year. So next year I raised it up to 100,000. We're going to be still carrying some of those balances for a while. Cash balance use is kind of confusing a little bit because it includes all our carryover projects plus the cash balance number, which on the bottom of the table, there is a number showing what the carryover project value is at, what the actual cash balance use line item number is. So I can repeat that again, the County Highway 15 carryover project for 36,000, 33 and 43 for 26,000, 400,000 for 15 Gurnham Blacktop, 400,000 for County Highway 51 resurfacing, County 2 at 386, County Highway 4, 600,000, and another stretch of County Highway 4 for 200,000. That totals $2,053,628 for those projects. That'd be carried over from last year or years prior. So this year, our new projects, one is a bridge that we're funding with part of 06. And then comes out of other funds for replacing a bridge south of Kernan on County Highway 15. And the other is for County Highway 34, trip to the Illinois River out here. It's a little culvert that's right next to the marina that I'm really unsure of because you can't see in it. Water's up to within 6 inches of the top of it, so you can't see it, and the water's murky. I'm not getting in the water. And the water is about 7 feet deep. So at that point, you look at the one head wall, and the one south head wall is all crumbled, rebar is exposed and severely rusted. And not sure what the rest of that box cover looks like underneath the road. So before we have a problem, I'd like to go through and replace that culvert.
Pushing
Yes.
north of Deep Bend Road on that culvert, is that a wetland in the state of Illinois?
There's various wetlands along Deep Bend Road.
That's why I'm asking, that's one of them.
I can't remember. I looked at the wetlands map the other day. I can't remember if that was actually marked as one. There's all the different types of wetlands
I
too.
think it is too, but
Yeah,
And I know what it used to be backwater, but the guy last year went out there, he knocked down all the tall grasses and he was planting it this year.
right.
But I don't know if he ever got anything planted in there this year.
And they had a gate, but they're not getting the new roadway yet.
Yeah. He was looking at planting it this year, so I'm not sure what a wetland can be if he's gonna try planting it.
Well, I don't know what's going on past that gate. You can't see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rice.
That's where all that wetland really produced the ducks back in the day. That's why Illinois River was so good of a hotspot.
And that place, according to when LaSalle County originally took over Deep Bend and made it a county highway, it showed that whole area being backwater and standing water.
Yeah.
But now it drains or whatever, something, I don't know.
it used to be a big lake, we used to snowmobile that.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's been dry for I don't know how long.
So the next item is engineering projects for Deep Bennett. That's for our major project of widening Deep Bennett Road to get 4-foot shoulders on it through it and putting safer force slopes through it. And 5,000 just for right away, in case you need to purchase anything. And we get down to our, what we call our maintenance patrol, which is our general maintenance items versus a microsurfacing funds for 130,000. 180,000 for our striping contractor. 95,000 for egg shoulders. 50,000 for skip batch. And 610,000 for Cape Seal. So a total for special tax match of 4,168,000. And projecting using $223,000 of cash balance. Have a balanced budget for 6.
Down the Dependent Road, is that just the engineering fees?
That's part of the engineering fees. There's the, you'll see then the other fund, once we get to the other fund, the rest of the engineering fees.
Cause that's actually 2 or 3 years down the road from being done, right?
Yeah, because let's get the engineering contract this year. It's gonna take at least probably 1.5 to 2 years to get through all the hurdles to get all the permits and everything we need to do the work. Then
I'm gonna ask another question on that. Is the state involved in that to help? Is that part of their project?
as part of their project for Deep Bennett, no. Deep Bennett's a county highway.
All right, thank you. See, I talked about it's been missed. Because of the bicycles.
Well, they'd like to see us do something. That's one thing I will, safety, HSIP, like Highway Safety Improvement Program application in. Put 3 applications in this year, one for County Highway 29 from 18 up to Kangley. And the other one on County Highway 21 from 23 to Wedren. And that part of it is to resurface and put shoulders on those. And the other one I did was put an application in for Deep Bennett Road down here to put the 4-foot shoulders on Deep Bennett. So part of that was to get some funds to also pay for some of the engineering to do that with the federal funds.
No news yet, Doc.
So no news yet.
Thank you.
The next is 07. If you grab the horizontal sheets, we'll show our contracts payable.
Yellow?
Yellow, yes. So first one on there is Red White Blue Bridge for $1 million. Next one is County Highway 5, the bridge that was over Wolf Creek, just east of 23. Next one was County Highway 33, just next to Waltham School for $34,000 still. Then we got our remainder of our payments for bridge currently being built up on County Highway 52 in Leland. Next one is Willard Hoffman for engineering on Little William Bridge for Dimick Township. Next one is for construction of the bridge that's on the county line down in Allen Township, down there, and that's been let and it's going to start up next week. Next one is County 33 out here with deconstruction and final repayments, still doing that one yet. And then County Highway 34, Deep Bennett for Willard Hoffman for doing the bridge that's right next to the lock and dam. And then we have East 24th, engineering still left on that, replacing a set of township culverts with a precast culvert, cast in place culvert. And then we have our slant bridge up there in the very northwest corner, that's in junction with Lee County. engineering for 96,000. We have Grand Rapids culvert that was put in this year. There's a remaining payment of 11,000 left on that. We have Grand Rapids culvert for next year. Then we got some timber pile repairs for Groveland, Hope, Miller, Mission, Ophir, and Troy Grove. That's currently, it's been let today. So that might get done this year, but carried over to next year. So there's $2.8 million of work there. It's been obligated. And then you look at our financial position. Right now, we have a cash on hand. After income for the month, and like that, $2.89. The expenditures this month are $509,000. We have contracts payable of $2.8 million. So it leaves us a financial condition of negative $520,000. That's still pending our second installment of, and third installment of real estate tax funds, which will put it back to the positive side. So on the budget itself, the tax levy last year raised it 1.5% again, so we're at $1,667,520. The personal property replacement tax, definitely giving a number of $19,937. Interest income, this year we're at 60,000 so far, projected to be at about 120,000. So I find that projection, there must be something messed up with that, because that's not right. Can't go 80 to 160. But with these projects that we're carrying over, looking at bumping into interest income up to 120,000. Federal reimbursement of funds, that's for projects that completed that we federal funds back. And right now, most times right now is in engineering. And 20,000 for municipal bridge. That's for funds for a couple of bridge projects for Streeter and Oglesby that will be getting funds back through that. Township bridge reimbursement, that's for our bridge aid where they pay for half the bridge, half the culvert, or whatever. So at that point, we send those fees out there. And the bridge engineering fees collected for various townships. Township bridge program, that's when we use TPP funds to pay for part of the engineering work, and we get TPP funds back to us, 207. Then our adjacent county line bridges, which includes the part of the engineering work so far for Slant Bridge, and then still the Millington Bridge hasn't been built by the state yet. So then we have our cash balance line item of $1,884,093, which includes so much of existing projects and some cash balance. When we get down to the projects, Red, White, and Blue is a carryover. Wolf Creek is a carryover. Peakumsauken is a carryover. Culverts on County 19, the carryover from this year. The culverts on County 57. Then we get to our new projects, which is box culvert that's on County 15, south of Kernan. It goes with the rest of the funds that were in 06. 300,000. Then we get into County 32, our latex overlay. They're over the Fox River for part of the funding for 350,000. And County 34, Clark Run. Part of the funding for Clark Run Bridge down there, 400,000. 300,000 for part of the funds for the box culvert that's right next to the marina. And then we got a culvert that's on Adams Hill there on County 15, south of Marseilles. And then we get to do something with that. It's, the hillside is sliding where it's causing a dip in the road. And we found out it's because the pipe underneath the road has pulled apart. So. We thought about first trying to line it, but it's too far apart. It's already got a gap of about like 6 inches. So at that point, we're gonna tear it out and replace it. So it's about 10 to 12 feet down. So expenses from digging how big a hole you got to dig to put a pipe in.
If it was a closer gap, would the liner keep it together?
That's what we could probably get away with putting a liner. So the liner then self-supporting at that point. There's no place for the liner. I'm not sure what the liner would happen in that spot because it's going to blow out. Doesn't have anything to sit against. It's trying to span that space. We keep a line item in here for bridge inspections in case we need assistance. Engineering consultants, in case, like for our temporary repairs, Megan prepares the plans, but we still will often review them and put their structural seal on them before we take them to living, because we need to have them reviewed by a structural engineer because it's repairs to a bridge. So we pay a fee out of that for that. And same thing with the bridge engineering fracture critical inspections if we need any help with any of those structures. Then we got our carryover from our County Highway 34 Clark Run bridge down there at Lock and Dam. So 100,000 for that. Then we get into our work for next year, replacing that culvert on County Highway 19 that we stopped at for a Bridge 8 tour. It also has a sister right around the corner for the township. And we got our Millington Bridge for 700,000 carrying over still for a while. That was done in 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. When that was completed. Just waiting on the state to bill for us for that. Then we got our bridge up at Slant Road. Engineering for 95,000 still. And then we get into our township bridge projects. Our Dimick Liver Million, $2,400 still there. Powder Creek, 2,000. Grand Rapids Culvert for 81,000. Groveland Timber Pile, 43,200. Hope Culver, 54,000. Miller, 43,200. Mission Culver for 108. Ophir Timber Pile for 43,200. True Grove Timber Pile for 64,800. And then we get into our this year's coming up timber pile repair projects. Demick for 26, Eagle for 38, Eden Township for 64, Mountain Ridge for 7, to engineering Freedom Bridge to replace that. Grand Rapids Timber Pile for 90,000. Grand Rapids Engineering to replace that bridge. Groveland Timber Pile. Meriden Timber Pile. Ophir to replace the one structure next to the county structure for 85,000. And Osage Timber Pile for 19. Then we get into the payroll of 295,000 this year. That includes their half the engineering staff's payroll. So this year we're looking at being about 275. And over time we were a little up on that. Not much right now. We're at 9,000. Probably be 18, 20,000 this year. So pumped it up to 22,000 for next year.
Then that one road on First Road, that bridge that state came in, that you didn't find on. That's what I forgot. Heading toward Troy Grove. Is that in here? There was one that you said, you didn't have. The state came in and.
Oh, they're talking about where East First where it's closed. Yeah, the timber pile, that was just on today's letting, to do those timber pile repairs. And we have done, where they have to be done by the 1st of October with that. So that we're gonna get open for harvest.
That's when we looked at,
Yeah, stop that, I don't have.
So that was done by first of October.
Yes.
Okay.
So, oh, here.
I can tell you, nowhere do you feel the size of the South County, being the highway department. What you've got going on and how far they stretch out. It's crazy.
So our carryover project was 1.5 million. Our carryover bridge aid was 220,000, so we have a total carryover of 1,779,000. Looking at using the cash balance of about 105,000. So we can move on to our last one. MFT. So we back to our horizontal sheets, we can look at our contracts payable. Or
You had a color code, this isn't legal, is it? It's not, this ordinance.
No,
Wow.
it's very helpful.
it is.
And we got donuts.
That's all.
those will keep you awake. As we go through the contracts payable. Sandy Ford Bridge. That 582,000 still up on that. We got 48,000 still up on County Highway 15. We have 300,000 on County Highway 2. 600,000 off County Highway 4 this year. 750,000 off the other County Highway 4 project this year. And then we get down into our Maintenance Patrol items, our Cape Seal, 640,000 versus Skip Ash, 37,000, shoulders, 76,000. And then the resurfacing in Grand Ridge for 20,000. So right now we have contracts payable about $3 million for MFT. So if we go into our financial condition sheet, it shows that we have cash on hand of 5.5 million. Between our expenditures and our accounts payable and contracts payable, drops our financial condition down to 2.2 million. As I said, that's where we do have funds as MFT. We save that for when we got a big project that we need to do and we have the funds to do it.
Five.
But
You talking about the 5.3? I mean,
I'm talking about actually the 2.2, that was actually, because the 5.3, 3 million of that's already spoke for projects. So when we go,
2 million go fast with these projects.
yes. So we go to the MFT budget sheets, our monthly allotments. Craig Emmett's all thing because he said the governor signed the bill to increase the motor fuel tax. We see increases, but not severely as what that is because how county can get their motor fuel tax funds is derived off of how many motor vehicle registrations are within LaSalle County compared to all the other counties. That's how we get our percentage.
Oh, darn.
We don't get it based off on how many miles we have, or anything like that. Townships get theirs based off how many miles they have compared to other townships. Municipalities get it based off their population compared to other populations of all the other municipalities. And that's how they get their percentage of the MFT funds. So there's an increase, doesn't mean that we'll see an increase because it depends how many more vehicle registrations are still in LaSalle County compared to other counties. As you guys need to pick up the pace, because I do my part, I have about 10 licensed vehicles in my yard. So you guys pick up the pace.
We gotta work on property taxes. You're chasing everybody up.
So going through for our allotments. This year so far, we've gotten about 1.4 million allotments, looking at about 2.8 for the year. which is just slightly over what the budget number what I had last year. So this year I bumped the number up to $3,072,131. Which is basically the same increase that we've done over the last few years, and that's basically where it's always ended up somewhere close to that number, so. Interest income this year so far, I've got 97,000, looking at being about 95,000 for the year, so I pumped the number up to 200,000 for next year. This year I had it only at 150, so. But knowing that some of these projects still aren't gonna get paid for this year, we know we're gonna keep getting interest money back in. Then we get into federal reimbursement funds for 315,000. That's for engineering fees that we pay out to get back. That'd be on the HSIP application. I was asking for 315,000 of federal funds to use towards that. So once we pay it, we can get reimbursed back for it. So that's the reimbursement line item there. County MFT consolidated, that's a payment that the counties receive and something that local roads that IDOT figures out, and it varies year to year. I left it at the 488 that last year was at. So that's how I look at the number. I guess use a number from the previous year to do that. And then reimbursement for county salary program for 81,000, so it's half my salary back. Miscellaneous income, which this year we had none, but still left there at 30,000. So fund balance use of 2.7 million. Then we get into our projects, our carryover of Lake Fleming for 48,000, the Sandy Ford Bridge for 582,000, County 2 resurfacing for 300,000, County 4 resurfacing, the other County Highway 4 resurfacing. And then we finally get into our new projects for the next year. Looking at if I can work out a deal with Leonore to resurface through the village of Leonore, similar to what we did this year to village of Grand Ridge. 900,000 for resurfacing County Highway 21 from 23 to Wedren. 600,000 for resurfacing County Highway 29 from Canely down to Route 18. And the rest of the funds to do the latex overlay on County Highway 32 just west of Sheridan. Then we got the 515,000 for engineering for Deep End Road out here for the big HSIP project.
I thought it was 400 something, or is that the other account?
The other account, that's, yes. See, the other account's this out, total of an engineering fee would probably about $900,000.
$1 million, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Because it's probably going to be somewhere around $7 to $8 million project overall. Yeah, that probably puts you back the same line that we did with County Highway 15, Kern and Blacktop. That was a $7 million project. The engineering fee on that back then was $700,000. So roughly the same numbers. We can get into our maintenance patrol. The other half of the microsurfacing that goes with special tax match. The other half the skip hatch that goes with special tax match. The other half the Cape Seal, 610,000 special tax match, and the other half the aggregate shoulders for 95,000. And then you get into payroll, which is the other half the maintainers for 685,000. And salary for the county engineer. And then the overtime for the other half of the maintainers. So looking at a total thing of 6.9 million. Carryover projects of 2.2 million. Cash balance use of about 513,000.
Don, where are we on as far as number of maintainers? Are we still looking for some, or are we gonna?
We did interviews last week. So BC and I need to wrestle to figure out who we're going to choose or not choose. And if we don't come with two candidates, we'll repost again and go again.
So we're still looking for 2 positions to fill.
We got 2 vacant right now, whether or not the people that we interviewed last week will be all viable or not. We'll go from there.
And that's seasonal or full-time?
Those are full-time.
get a Roman knuckle wrestle.
No, it's just a matter of who he wants back there and who he doesn't want back there and whether or not we feel they're gonna be good fits for us and whether or not they actually truly do have a CDL. So some have class B, which is,
Day one for the farm.
which we don't have a class A and we require a class A. But sometimes if you have a class B with air brakes, all you gotta do is walk over and take the driving test and you can get your class A. But we gotta find out for sure what the guy has, because he told us he's got class B, but he didn't tell if he's got the air brakes endorsement. If he does, then he can walk over and take it and then he becomes a viable candidate. So we got some groundwork to check out before we make offers, so.
So it depends.
So it depends, yes. So as I said, we have a little discussion to do.
They gotta go to Princeton?
Yeah, someplace, yeah. Or you go further away.
This seems to be bad.
So that's all the budgets. Next month, you guys can
As of today.
approve them to pass them on to finance. But it gives you some time to think about them. If you have any questions, come back next month and we can go through them again and discuss anything and if you guys want to change, go through it.
Going along with what Ray said, it's just amazing how many moving parts there
Oh
are.
my gosh, the magnitudes.
You know, before I came here on this committee, when you're driving down the roads, you don't think of everything that goes into them. And then since I'm coming, it's like, now that I've been here, it's like, holy crap, everything that goes into road building, maintenance, repair, planning.
Then you've got those guys that are overloaded all the time on their truck.
No beans in the ditch.
The South County, but the second largest county in Illinois.
Sorry.
Square miles, yes.
Yeah, and as far as registrations, I mean, you know, we have population, but it ain't nearly the population that a county towards the city would have. And they're getting more money because they got more registrations and we got more miles.
Yeah, but
It just ain't fair, Don.
they got more coverage to pay off though.
Not fair.
And more
You
roads.
gotta remember who wrote the law.
No, and our roads are beautiful. I'm so proud of our county roads. They're beautiful.
They are.
We aim to keep them that way.
Yeah.
We aim to keep them that way.
During winter, they're beautiful, the bridges are safe.
They're wide.
Yeah.
One thing is like when I'm
The
driving
extras
in
in
and out,
on the sides.
I know where Ottawa ends and county begins.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I'd rather be on the county roads than Ottawa.
Mhm.
Because
I'd rather be on
Ottawa,
the county roads in Illinois.
Very well. Back to our first item, which is letting award of section 24-00871-00BR. Remember pile repairs? We had 3 bidders this morning. We had deconstruction for $174,230. Gillen Construction for $175,153. And Toby's Construction for $289,578. I recommend we award the project to deconstruction for $174,230. And it's underneath the engineer's estimate.
And Toby's, they must be using some good material.
Toby's out of line, aren't they? Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Dave,
Makes it.
Ray? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Deconstruction.
So would Toby's have been under the estimate?
No. That was easy, no.
so they bid on it without wanting it, like intentionally.
No, they bid knowing that if they do get the work, they're gonna make money.
A lot of
That's sometimes what contractors do.
Hoping that nobody else.
No one else bids it and that's when they get the work. As far as projects going on right now, our Cape Seal is on a downward completion. It's all the Cape Seal actually done. They're out there just striping right now. and doing some minor repairs to work they did it the year before.
No, we do the striping road, the new machine.
No, we don't do any of this right.
What machine did we buy that? Wasn't a striper, then it was.
We bought a spray patcher
Okay.
and we bought a crack sealer. We did not buy paint machines. Paint machines are more expensive than Fred's machine.
Who grinds on the road? Who's grinding that?
We have, that for buying a skid steer this past year, we have an attachment that we can go out and grind the bumps.
We're doing
Yes.
it. Nice. Looks nice. You can tell when they did it.
What are you talking about over on?
The kind of road you go on. And a deep end road coming here, there's some too.
Yeah, we generally don't try doing it too much because most times it comes up and then goes back down, so. So at that point, it's not something where it's really noticeable. We really don't want to try touching it.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be resurfaced.
Yes.
Sir, if every time a year that you would be more apt to do it, to grind it?
Not really. I think it's gonna point where it definitely, it's not moving anymore. It's just stuck up. At that point, we go through and grind it. There's certain roads that are problem children that we have spots that grind, which one is next to Ed Hand Bridge on the east abutment there. That's got where asphalt wants to kind of come down the hill and slide down the hill and kind of where there's a bump. So we grind it every so often to keep
Much
it.
shale.
And then our chip seal is on downward spiral two getting completed. I think they're down to just completing the A3s now. As far as our resurfacings, County 51s, we completed County Highway 4s, full stretches of County Highway 4s completed, except for I think striping on one stretch of County Highway 4. County Highway 15 down by Kernan is nearing completion on that one. The pavement's down, the striping's down, so it's a nice highway to drive down there. If you ever want to take a drive and check it out.
So for the different processes that you have, how do you determine what spot patch needs to be addressed, whether it's filled in or ground off, or is it the maintainer that takes care of those roads regularly? Do they drive up and down and?
It's the foreman, they're the ones that are really making that decision on what work gets done on the routes. The route man can sort of say, hey, I noticed this, and go check this out. And the foreman goes and checks it out and determines what they want to do with the work, as far as doing simple maintenance on it.
Work order.
Yeah, basically you give them the command in the next morning to go out and do that work, whatever, and then the crew in that point, because at that point, you're usually not doing the work by yourself, out tires and everything else out with you, so it's not something you just going, yeah, I want to go and do this, so. Bridge up in Leland, the deck's poured, the approaches are poured. They're hoping to get the asphalt approaches in yet this week. So hopefully they're making their completion date that was on that, which was by September 1st.
Next Friday.
Yeah. September 1st. So. Our bridge down there at Allen Township on the county line. That's going to get started on Monday. We have two more bridge projects, one for the city of Oglesby and then one for the city of Streeter, which I haven't heard. They're actually gonna start that. They had tentative dates, which they've already passed, so they're supposed to still be done this year. We have another culvert for Brookfield Township that'll be let next month. Possibly get done yet this year.
Anything we're behind on?
I think we're behind on anything really. And Leland's the only one's close, but they're there where they can make the finish line, so. It's right now the weather's talking about being dry for the next 2 weeks, so we'll see why they can't get it done. But then again, the weather's been that way for the last couple of weeks, and then the next thing you know, it's a rain the next day.
But in funny July and August was raining.
And if you want to drive one of these days, we have started painting the bridge rail on the red, white, and blue bridge. So the bridge rail will be painted red, white and blue again.
Oh, you-
Very cool.
So retaining that history that's there still, so.
So if you have paint on your fender, we know where you work.
We're not spray painting it. They tried that and they figured out that that didn't work. It was too much in the air and going everywhere, would not get on the rails, so they're painting it by hand.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Who's doing it?
we are.
Our maintenance crew.
Marion School's doing it.
Well, how long has it been red, white and blue?
Oh, that other bridge was built. It was named, the first bridge was named the Red, White and Blue Bridge, which I don't know why it was. The pictures I've seen, it doesn't look red, white and blue, but it was named the Red, White and Blue Bridge. And when they replaced it, sure, it was because built the trust in the other one. I'm trying to think of the name of that company that was on it, because there's a plaque next to the bridge and I can't remember the name of it.
I remember, because you put that plaque back up, right?
Plaque's back up. But that bridge was named Red, White and Blue. So when they built a new one, people down there painted the bridge rail red, white and blue. So I said, when we replace this one, we're putting rail on top so we can paint it again, red, white, and blue. So that's the reason why the rail didn't need to be there, but we put it there just so we could paint it red, white, and blue. And preserve that history and that kind of tradition going on, so.
For sure.
I mean, that's cost is very minor, I'm going, yeah, we could do some other things with the guys' times, but kind of gives us something else to do besides doing the same things all the time, so.
That's kind of neat.
Quality of
One
life.
guy comes
Yeah.
back at the end of the day with red.
Good picture we get.
Wasn't me.
And then I still, on the one culvert up on 33 East 11th, deconstruction completed, however, I'm not impressed with the right of their asphalt right now. I'm still trying to figure out what needs to be done with it before I tell them to come out and do something with it. Because it's kind of got a dip and a bump and a waddle and whatever, depending on which way you're going, whatever.
So,
And I ride home that way every day and come to work every day that day. So I drive across the journey a couple times every day. And I keep looking at them.
where did
Oh,
they,
last place you wanna mess
where
up.
did they screw up in the process? Would it have been? It's
No
not
string
that-
line.
Not laying the asphalt, it's probably.
No, laying the asphalt.
Gravel underneath or?
No, laying the asphalt. Pull string line. They're just trying to go out there and free will going across. And when you come off an existing road and you drop into your trench over here, and if you don't have this trench exactly filled up where it needs to be, as you pull off that hard surface, your paver then drops down into your hole, which at that point, the street just did the same thing. You built the same thing into the road. And the one wants to set.
It's a great surface.
No,
License.
except for that.
Yeah.
But no one wants to pull a string line. It takes too long to set a string line up. I'm going, just give me 10 minutes, and I'll have a string line set up for you. It doesn't take me that long to set a string line up because I'm going to set it up by eye. I'm not going to set it up great. I'm going to look to see what the string line looks true and straight. It's good enough, pave it. Like, I don't need anything more than that. I don't need to set to an elevation. I'm just making it straight.
And to fix that,
You're going to have to.
almost at the label
You're gonna have to,
thing, wouldn't it?
no, it's gonna be an area probably about 50 feet long, the way I'm looking at it right now, because you have to grind the bump off of it and then fill the dip. So you have to cut a header at the end and then fill, because at that point, you're not gonna scratch anything because you're gonna be in the air, and then grind the high spot over there side so you can make a nice smooth transition through. You don't wonder what I was thinking in my head to tell the guy, that's what my husband, from now on, plans, my profile grade line was going like this.
You'll find out where you live in the future.
So at that point, so I really have, that's the way you pave it, so I'm not to draw it that way. Any other questions?
Oh, make a motion to adjourn. Pass. Bill, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Nice job, Walt. Nice
Yeah,
job.
well.
Good job.
You guys thought this was gonna be a short one.
Yeah, right.
What do you